Welcome everyone to podcast episode 32. And before we begin, a lot of people may not know I have a website, davidghiyam.com, where I have hosted obviously all my podcasts and access to all the different classes that I have, as well as master classes. And I will be providing more digital content and master classes in the next few months based on all the feedback I've received from you. It's going to be such powerful long-form content and going to make it extremely accessible for everyone. I also have new live events that I am posting almost every week in different cities. So make sure to go and sign up for my newsletter. And whenever I open up a new city, I will let you know so that you can be informed about the best way to connect to the wisdom of Kabbalah. I want to share about this week's energy, actually something that's come up quite often, which is this idea that all that exists is us and the light of the Creator. The sages basically are sharing, and the Zohar talks about that, the ancient text of Kabbalah written 2,000 years ago, that everything that we see in this world, we start to believe in its reality, and our mind becomes conditioned to understand that it's real. And when we believe that something we see is real, we become the effect of it rather than the cause. The sages say that we must always go back to the only true concept and reality that exists, which is all that there is the light of the Creator and my soul, my vessel. And everything in this world is really just a reflection of that. This is the whole idea of transforming reactive behavior. When something occurs in our life and fear or lack emerges, and you can kind of think about what's going on in your life right now, that's causing you some form of fear, anxiety, or doubt about now or the future, the first thing that we want to do is to react to it because we don't want to feel that pain. When we react and look for some form of instant gratification, we're essentially saying that what is happening is real. What is happening is the only reality. And the reality between the light of the Creator and me just doesn't really exist. And so this is what drops us down into what's called the tree of knowledge, the reality of chaos, ups and downs, when we really want to be connected to the tree of life, the realm of miracles. In order to connect to the realm of miracles, we must first start with the consciousness that all there is me and the light of the Creator. This is all there is. And we must tell ourselves this all the time. When we wake up in the morning, in the middle of the day, in the end of the day. In fact, the sages would give us different prayers and mantras, a lot of which I'll be able to share with you more in the future, in a very structured way, to remind ourselves, both in the physical world and to charge our soul energetically to remember this consciousness. All there is me and the light of the Creator. The second part of this is the understanding that the way to connect with the light is to be like the light. The way to connect to the Creator is to become like the Creator. There's so many different secrets of what that means, but a lot of what we focus on, and a lot of what I want all of us to make as the core theme of our week is to not come from a place of lack, but to come from a place of wholeness. I have seen this time and time again. In fact, I saw it again today. Someone who I was speaking with had a consciousness of certainty. I had a consciousness that everything is an illusion. Had a consciousness that all there is he and the light of the Creator. But then, and when he had that consciousness, all these miracles were occurring. The right people were coming. People felt this person's aura and energy. This person was receiving wisdom and answers to all the problems they were going through. And then, of course, periods of darkness come. This level of consciousness, the reason why it is not always just there every day when we wake up, is because the Creator steps back, the energy steps back in order for you to experience lack and fear, so that we can re-choose this consciousness, and that causes us to rise to another level. There's 125 levels to our soul, and many more levels within those levels, which I also will share deeper in my long-form masterclass content when we get into reincarnation and the structure of the soul. And so to climb these levels of the soul, we can only climb, and the only free will we have is when we experience that step back from the Creator, that void. And so when he was going through couple of weeks later, that void. It's like we totally forgot about that consciousness of certainty, totally forgot about that consciousness of fullness. And so what he was experiencing was more and more people coming who also represented that lack. If you have lack, you will attract people with lack. If you have lack, business deals will be delayed. If you have lack, relationships will be delayed. If you have lack and doubt, people will have lack and doubt about you. People will have judgment about you. Everything just becomes a reflection of what's going on inside of ourselves. So really, we must ask the question, what is going on inside of ourselves right now? It is not a problem that lack, fear, judgment, doubt come up to the surface. In fact, it's a good sign. The only problem is if we believe it and we stay with it and we live with it and we nurture it. You can have judgment, lack, and fear for seconds, minutes, hours even. But as long as only if your intention is, I aim to transform this, I know this is an illusion, then it's okay if you're afraid for hours or even days. As long as you're fighting it, as long as you're praying to the Creator and asking the Creator for the strength to feel whole, then you are protected. So I don't want us to feel guilt or shame about being in a state of fear or doubt. It is perfectly fine, and the immunity is there as long as you are trying to enter the state of wholeness, enter that vibration of certainty. How can we do that? The most powerful way is to condition ourselves to realize that we are in complete control. And everything we are experiencing, everything we are feeling, everything that is coming to us is truly a reflection of who we are on the inside. Now, there are past life challenges that we have not passed, so they come back. And you may say, well, I am living in certainty. I'm acting like the Creator. I'm in a mode of giving. I'm in a mode of wholeness. And all of a sudden, I attracted pain and suffering. A lot of these challenges, remember, come from past lives and even this life because we haven't corrected it. And they don't just come to punish, they come to elevate. And when we correct them, by injecting even more certainty when they appear and when we feel them, we elevate to our next level. So everything in this world, even your desire for wealth and abundance, or your desire for security, your desire for wisdom, your desire for children, your desire for your own children to be protected, is solely contingent upon your consciousness. And so when these challenges come, we choose certainty, even if you have to fake it. Even if you have to reach deep down inside, you're not in the mood, you don't feel like it. You just say over and over again, I have complete certainty that this is good. And I know everything that I want, that I think I don't have, I have right now. When you are walking around town, when you're walking to events, when you're at parties, when you're in business meetings, when you're on a date, everywhere you go, just keep reminding yourself, there's nothing that I'm missing. And I'm completely connected to the light of the Creator. Because in the tree of life, in the realm of miracles, in the realm of the 99%, as the sages call it, there is perfection. So why am I not experiencing it? Because I'm choosing to live in a perspective, in a frequency that is not in that realm. And so the way answers come, the way protection comes, the way true sustenance comes that lasts forever, is to first operate from this place of the tree of life. And people might even think you're delusional because you're happy and you're certain, despite physically around you, everything is falling apart. This is not delusional, this is preemptive. This is proactive. The delusion is believing that what people are saying is true, believing that the chaos around me is real, believing that there isn't money in my bank account, because you're looking at the account. It shows insufficient funds. Do you believe that? You must say, I have complete certainty that all the money is there. Is that enough? That's the starting point. That's the starting point. Many times we've spoken in our prosperity courses that the consciousness of certainty is the starting point. It opens the gates. It opens the wisdom. It attracts the right opportunities. We must then continue acting like the Creator by creating momentum, taking action, not being afraid to test things, not being afraid to fail. We've learned this in our master classes about our tikkun, our soul's correction. And so The vessel for sustenance and abundance doesn't just come from the certainty that I am abundant. It also comes from then pursuing my fears and leaning into them, especially as it relates to business. If you are scared to reach out to a customer, if you are scared to put your content out there, if you are scared to move forward with your product because you're afraid to fail, you're afraid to not be funded, you're afraid of criticism and feedback, you're afraid to be judged, this will be the second phase of building the vessel. Who cares if you're judged? Who cares if you fail? Who cares if everybody criticizes you? Who cares if you die in the process or your ego dies? The more you can release the fear of things going wrong and be your authentic self and listen to that voice inside of you that is telling you what it wants to do, what your soul wants to do, the more you create the vessel for abundance. A good Northern Star would be, what is your intention? If your intention is coming from the right place, even if it's not perfect, move forward. Learn lessons. Often myself, when I feel a calling to do something and the intention of it is right, I'll just do it. Well, how do I know it's the right thing? Who cares? Just do it, because no matter what, you learn. Well, what if I waste time? What does wasting time even mean? Just move forward. Just move forward. And so, this is the week that we can rise to our soul's true power and raise our vibration. Rise above the lack. Connect to the energy of certainty. Connect to the notion that the Creator is here with you, guiding you in everything that you do. And there is no lack. And then create momentum. Lean into the things you're scared of. Lean in to the ideas that have come to you, but you've just placed them in suspended animation, waiting for some kind of sign to guide you. The only time we should be waiting is when we feel that doing an action is impulsive and reactive and coming from fear. Then waiting becomes a proactive game. It's very difficult to wait in that situation. But most of us, the Creator is calling upon us, sending us ideas, sending us divine thoughts, sending us opportunity, and we're overanalyzing it. We're overthinking it all. And the other thing is, there's so much more you can do in your day than you even realize. The truth is, you could probably do 10 times more than you're doing now. Will you be tired? No. Will you be exhausted? No. Will you lose your work-life balance? No. So many limited beliefs exist in our mind that if we do this, then that will happen. If I work too much, then I'll lose myself. If I try this out, people will judge me. These are all just limited beliefs that have been implanted in our brain from past life and this life, from family, from friends, from society. Delete all of it. Realize that it's all a game. We're all having fun. Test things out, and if you lose the game, you actually win the game.